Financial self-confidence. What is that all about? Well, no one really knows whether the discovery of neurosis coincided with the invention of money, but it seems a likely possibility. Psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, divorce lawyers, and bartenders all indicate that it's the major concern of most people most of the time. In times of great economic turmoil and change, such as we are now experiencing, the natural inclination to worry about money becomes exaggerated. Financial anxiety is the major obstacle to achieving financial independence, financial self-confidence. The myth is that producing a large income will solve financial worries. The truth is that a large income just won't occur unless one is willing to confront and eliminate a major portion of one's financial anxieties. And while on the subject of myths, let's cover some of those about money that people quite naturally seem to have in our society. One is that other people are better equipped than me to produce prosperity. The truth is that we are all equally well equipped to earn surplus income. Each of us has talents, abilities, and natural creative inclinations which can bring us all we want. But of course, these have to be activated, and the belief that other people are more likely to succeed, can more easily succeed, is just the kind of belief that will prevent someone from activating his or her prosperity potential. The myth that you need a certain profession, career, or education to be financially successful. People in all sorts of professions make fortunes. What matters is not what you do, but the energy, enthusiasm, and creative power you put into doing it. The fact is, a goodly number of multimillionaires never graduated high school, and an even larger proportion of the nation's wealthy never went to college. And most highly educated people are sadly underpaid, and in this country we have the unique ability to educate ourselves with vast resources at our fingertips. Another money myth is that it's not right to enjoy yourself and be paid. The belief being that you must take earning a living seriously. The truth is, of course, as we've said before, people who have fun earning a living seem to earn the most. Some people believe the myth that there's not enough money to go around, and in order to earn a lot, one has to deprive others. The truth is, there's an unlimited supply of money to go around, and if there weren't, more could be created. There's certainly more than enough to abolish poverty. What there is a shortage of good ideas, which is why someone with good ideas can usually earn a lot of money in exchange for them. Another myth is that the only way to make a lot of money is to work hard. And this is joined to a personal myth that if I have worked hard and am not rich, I must be doing something wrong. If hard work produced wealth, all of those people who bought into the myth and worked 40 years and look forward to retirement would be doing pretty well. The truth is, according to the Social Security Administration, the average American retiring at 65 has cash assets of $250. Just as each animal is beautifully designed to go out in the world and successfully seek its own food and shelter, you are beautifully designed to go out and produce a substantial income. If animals spent as much time worrying about failure as we do, a lot more species would be extinct. Financial self-confidence operates on the provocative premise, as does this entire program and just about everything I talk about. One's financial state has a lot to do with one's state of mind. Then in order to change the financial reality, an individual must change the mental, emotional beliefs about money. If you're not now financially independent, it is not the fault of the economy, your lack of education, the fact that you are not creative enough or working hard enough, and it is certainly not bad luck. The only thing standing between you and wealth right now are your ideas, beliefs, habits, and actions concerning money. Financial fitness has nothing to do with how much money one has, but rather with the amount of financial self-confidence an individual possesses. Part of the financial fitness and financial self-confidence concept has to do with developing the philosophy of an entrepreneur. Not the old image of the entrepreneur, not the flamboyant, money-hungry stereotype, but the new and more accurate image of a person with new ideas finding a place where those ideas will be accepted and applauded. An entrepreneur is someone who pays attention to what is happening in the world and finds a need that either hasn't been filled yet or can be filled better. Bob Schwartz, director of the School for Entrepreneurs, says there's suddenly a group of people who are latent entrepreneurs, whose antennae get to twitching when major social change is in the offing. They sense that something is trying to happen that hasn't happened before, and that they'd like to be a part of that. 1/3 of the way into a period of new social change, there arrives an army of entrepreneurs who become the poets and the packagers of the emerging vision. They understand it, they put it together, they try to sell it. An entrepreneur, the basic definition, is a person who goes into the marketplace to sell a new idea, because the marketplace gives you the most immediate feedback on whether the idea will work. If it doesn't work, people will stop buying it. It's as simple as that. And it's behind the success of the free enterprise system. What works sells. What doesn't work stops selling. It's a system that has pretty well proven itself time and time again. We talked a bit about fear choice versus growth choice before, and I want you to think about, again, the choices you make in your life and whether they're motivated. Because every decision we make is either motivated by fear or motivated by growth, by a desire to be better than we are, a desire emerging from the healthiest parts of our personality or from the darker parts. Fear can immobilize, and those who are financially successful and have financial self-confidence are not those without fear, but those who realize that they can move forward despite the fear. Spending most of one's time protecting what one has already is a certain path to economic doom, because, again, when the mind is focused on protection of assets, it cannot be focused on producing new abundance. Certainly you have learned by now that your mind can focus on one major idea at a time. And where you put your energy is what gets fed. There's a popular television commercial for a major savings and loan institution. A woman, attractive woman in her 50s, comes out and points to her well-furnished living room, saying, "All I have is this and my savings. I know I can earn more money by investing it in other ways, but I can't afford to take the risk. I don't have time to earn it again." This woman has made a fear choice. And the programming of that message, which a lot of people are buying into, not only is that her income has started to stabilize or even drop, but she's not going to live very much longer. Negative programming that is reinforced by the media. Look at the kind of programming you have in your life and what it says to you about what you can or cannot achieve. Each of us already has the talents and skills to produce a lot more money in our lives, a lot more success, a lot more love, a lot more time. The two factors that most often prevent people from reaching the wealth-actualized state of financial self-confidence are resentment and blame and self-imposed limits. Long-term resentment is often coupled with an unwillingness to take full responsibility for one's life. It involves blaming other people, the environment, and external circumstances for what is happening in one's life. Self-imposed limits are the specific, rigid boundaries most people put on their earning potential. Stop right now. Do you have an upward limit of what you expect to earn in the next year? If a man says he hopes to eventually earn $30,000 a year, there's very little chance he'll exceed that figure. A self-imposed limit is an emotional ceiling, an internal resistance point. And it creates what I call the fixed income mentality. And if you don't see your income as increasing by at least 20 to 30% in the next 12 months, you are operating with a fixed income mentality. Just as fixed as those people on retirement incomes that will not waver, even though inflation is eating up the value of that money. Get away from the fixed income mentality. There is no limit to what you can earn next year. The only limit is the one that you place on yourself. Each individual has an inner voice that's constantly admonishing, threatening, worrying. A lot of people have exerted a lot of energy trying to destroy that inner voice, but this rarely works. This negative part of our subconscious mind will always exist to some degree, and the way to overcome negative results is to recognize it and learn to ignore it. To say to that voice, "Not now, I'm moving forward. I'm not going to listen to you." To bombard the subconscious mind with creative strength so that the negative messages we all give ourselves can be diluted in an ocean of positive reinforcement. You can lose negative events in the crowd by filling your life with positive ones, and you can lose negative messages by filling your life with positive messages. What distinguishes those people who are financially successful from those who are not isn't intelligence, opportunity, or hard work, but rather the capacity and determination that enables them to overcome financial anxiety, to act in a positive manner even though they might be frightened, doubtful, or insecure. And you know, when I was interviewing scientists for psychological immortality and asking them, what is the determining factor in those people that seem to survive longer and more vigorously than most others? And without question, they all agreed. The ability to experience stress and move past it. Not to deny negative feelings such as anger, anxiety, hostility, but to experience them quickly and recover quickly. Those people with a quick recovery time are those who live longer and seem to be most successful. How quick is your recovery time? What's the last major setback you had, and how long did you dwell on it? And are you still reliving it and playing back that message? More people have lost more money remembering the Great Depression of the 1930s than was ever actually lost at the time. Millions are still making major financial decisions based on what their parents and grandparents told them about that period of history. The truth is that such an economic collapse can never again occur. It was a product of the times. It's ironic that in a period of continuing inflation, something that will probably be with us for another 50 years, people are worried about the repetition of an episode of intense deflation. And how about the provocative idea offered by Lou Mobley, economic visionary and former head of IBM's executive school, that we're already in the depression of the 1980s, but we haven't recognized it because it's so different in character and in results from that of the 1930s. As he puts it, a depression is when the culture shifts its values around. It occurs because we can't shift our institutions as rapidly as our values shift. We always look to the last depression to find our images, so we don't recognize the new one. This new depression won't have the catastrophic impact of the last one. In fact, more people will have more money than ever before. But some people will suffer because they cannot cope with change. They do not have that quick recovery time we talked about. We're already seeing the results of this new depression in the breakdown of services, wherein no matter how much money you have, it may still take you hours to get an airline reservation. And no matter how much money you can spend on clothes, you'll still have trouble finding a dry cleaner who will provide honest and efficient service. And no matter how expensive a car you'll buy, you'll have trouble finding a mechanic who will serve you promptly, efficiently, and honestly. And of course, this is filled with opportunity for anyone.